Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Expert Explorer podcast, your number one employment podcast in the world.
That's right.
As you know, we talk about everything employment, from the facts to the myth and everything in between. My name is Mide.
And my name is Aisha. Thank you for joining us today.
Before you start, Aisha, I just need you to introduce me as though I'm a guest on this show. So please go ahead.
So what you're saying is that if you're a guest, how will I introduce you? Abi?
Yes, no.
I'll first start with, join me as I welcome the delectable, the ever gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous, most beautiful, most intelligent, HR extraordinaire, Mide Folayo.
Actually, I don't think I can beat you on that though.
I know you have to do my own. What do you mean? Please introduce me. Let my head swell.
Okay, let me think of it. All right. Today, we have in our midst a delectable, an enigmatic, energetic, beautiful. In fact, people call her Alaja, but I'll prefer to call I'll prefer to call her HR Alaja Extraordinaria. She's so beautiful. Well, join me to welcome no other person but Aisha.
Why you know it's my surname?
Oh.
Aisha Suleiman.
Aisha Suleiman.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you.
so
Thank
sorry.
you. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah.
But let's be serious. Let's be serious. But before we become very serious, have you subscribed? Please subscribe, like, share, comment on our videos. Thank you.
Everything. Yes, we want you to be engaged on the platform. So we'd like you to like, share, comment. Tell us your stories. We're like your HR sisters.
And buddies, just let us know. We like hearing it. Me, I like gist.
Yes.
I like gist.
We look forward to that moment.
Yep. So let's start with what most people don't think about. Like, imagine you get an interview invitation from, maybe you apply to and you get an interview invitation. And you're just super excited. Mm-hmm. You're so elated. Like, oh my God, I got a call, but I got an interview in this job. Not necessarily because you love the company, but mostly because you're just glad that something has finally clicked. Imagine having to knock, then one door eventually now opens up. It's not usually because you love the company. It's more so that, something eventually clicked.
Actually, unfortunately, some persons used to have that emotional rush, during that period when they've been trying to get jobs, and over time they did not get any opportunity. And so once something clicks, they just immediately hop on it without having to do their due diligence, checking to see whether or not that opportunity is for them. And I feel that is one thing that has got so many people into trouble, right? They just hopping on a job without doing the background check, right? To seeing what are the red flags.
Yeah.
And that brings us to our topic for today.
Yeah.
What are the red flags to look out for when you are job hunting?
It's very important, because imagine going for an interview and you have little to no information about what the company does, or just little to no information about them online. You can't see what they do. You can't see anything related to them online. That's a serious red flag.
Actually, and many times people make the most unassuming compromise, when deciding on whether or not they want to proceed with the employer or with the organization. They see all the red flags, but they will turn a blind eye to, the things that they've observed during the recruitment process or during the application process. And I know that this topic is very sensitive because there are lots of stories. I remember someone telling me that he got an opportunity to travel to UK, and of course, they always have agents that process all of these things. You pay some amount of money, and then when you get to that country, the person would help you out with getting an employer. You start your job and everything. And unfortunately, the person did not do a check on what would be entailed overall. Did not do a holistic check on what other persons have been through, or the process of actually having an agent bring you into another country, and what other people have experienced in general. So the person left Nigeria and traveled to the UK. And on getting there, the person realized that there was no job in the first place. That the context of that engagement with the agents was just to bring the person in, and the agent was, could not actually provide the job. And I also know that there are some local experiences here in Nigeria where people travel from other states,
Yes.
come into Lagos because
Job opportunity.
Yes, they believe that this place is a center of commercialization.
That's why there's always traffic.
Yes. And because it's the center of commercialization, everyone wants to be in Lagos. And when they just see any opportunity, they just hop on it without having to consider whether those persons are even kidnappers. And I feel
you are very correct.
I feel so many people have actually been through it.
Yes. We've heard stories. I think it's just not as common as it used to be. Even if it's common, it's not really online as much as it used to be before. Like people falling in the hands of like all these dubious job advertisements. And for instance, now for job red flags, like job red flags, there are some that sting from a mile away. That if you see it, you know that this thing,
there's a stench.
this thing is not normal. No matter how you try to explain it away, you just know that this is not acceptable. But there are some that are not so glaring, that you need to be more careful, and you need to be more conscious, and you need to think about it more before you say that this is actually a problem.
I agree with you. And that is to say that there is no organization that you work with today that does not have maybe like a community or does not put itself out there. Even if it's an organization that outsources assassins or does undercover stuff, they have an ecosystem that recognizes, the individuals that govern that particular institution or organization. But you can't just tell me that you go online, and that is one of the red flags.
Yes.
Right? Going online and you cannot bloody see anything about the organization.
That's a red flag. Or even like I just not seeing anything. Or even like maybe it's not even clear what the organization does. Like you don't know the name. You know there are some
details,
job ad that you don't even understand. You don't even know the name of the company. So you don't even know what to search.
Exactly. Or maybe you see the organization, you search online for the company, but the search you are making is taking you to some place that has a group list of different organizations. And that also should tell you that maybe there's something off about the organization. For instance, now, I remember sometime when I was, gone in to do internship after my university days, and I wanted to keep myself busy. I didn't just want to stay at home. And so I applied for an opportunity, and then I got a text message. And in that text message, I was invited to somewhere around Shomolu or so. And I remember my parents taking me there, but they were concerned. However, I knew that it was not like the regular job adverts that you get to see, but I just had a little bit of faith that, maybe it is actually I'm given that I just finished school.
I just wanted to get something doing.
And I just wanted to get something doing. So I just assumed that it was a good opportunity. And then we were using Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, so it wasn't like we have it this day where you can go online and check on Google Map or check on Google to see like extensive reviews about that particular
even on Google Map you can see sometimes you can see a picture, like an aerial view
of the organized. Yes. So we didn't have all of that at the time. And so by the time I got there, we sat outside. I looked at the people that
I know what you're talking about.
To cut the story short, it happened to be a GLND, opportunity.
Those people.
Allegedly. There's nothing to be alleged about this one.
Okay, what is your experience, Sha? It's true.
There's nothing to be alleged about it, because when I got there, I noticed that the appearance of those people that were even trying to give me job was not appealing. And so I realized that,
You've been
this is not
scammed.
this is not the kind of opportunity I would want for myself. And sometimes you even get there, they'll tell you that you have to pay a sum of
Yes.
10,000 naira
To-
or
to
20,000
register.
naira to register.
To start today.
If you ever get such, please run away.
Don't mind. Is it like and
Let
it's
your
so
leg touch your
deceitful.
back.
It's so deceitful that people I've had like I know someone like my cousin that he came all the way from Ilorin to Lagos because he got like he just like how you said like just finished school trying to just find something doing applying everywhere. Then he got a text message. I don't know, they always go through the text message route. So he got a text message for an interview in Lagos. I think like 2 days or a day after, he had to rush down to Lagos. He didn't know any better. He came to Lagos and we were staying on the island and the place was on the mainland, so he had to leave the house as early as like 4:30 the next day to go for the interview.
Absolutely.
He came back and you could see it in his eyes. He was almost crying. He was
my
he was so disappointed. Like imagine the amount of money he spent that he didn't have, that he had to collect from his parents to come all the way from Ilorin to Lagos.
That's sad.
Just to be met with like, and all this multi-level marketing, what do they call it? Like,
That's sad.
it's so sad. My husband even had that. I can't even remember my husband's experience. But I think he mentioned something. He has mentioned something about that. Like he has gone to that, that kind of GNLD.
GNLD.
He was just like, he said, immediately at the beginning, we just knew that these people are very sus. He was like, no, this is not what
You
I'm looking
cannot
for. Like,
continue. And let's just even play it in our own with our own personal experience. Remember the first time you got a job interview invitation, right? That was actually for a structured organization. That you know that this organization is for real. You know that feeling that comes with it, that joy. That finally something has moved for you. I believe that some persons that have waited for a very, very long time to get maybe a call or to get even an opportunity, no matter how basic, when they get this kind of text messages, they are getting it from a place of, wanting to explore, wanting to, discard all the naysayers, that this is not a good opportunity. Exactly. And they are probably having a blood view as to all the things they need to consider.
Yeah.
But if you are one of those persons that are currently desperate, if you are desperate to actually get the job, I think the word desperate is strong, but really there are some persons in that category. I would encourage you to take a deep breath, because again, some persons would take advantage of it in a very negative way. There are some opportunities that are very horrific, and those opportunities end up being the ones that take people's life.
Yes.
And there have been horror stories of people traveling for job opportunities, getting there, especially through Facebook. And then they get to those places and then they realize that maybe those persons are ritualists or kidnappers. Yes, and they begin to do all manner of things, maybe human harvesting and things like that. I feel it's you owe yourself that responsibility of taking few steps backwards and doing your due diligence.
Is very, very important. Companies do due diligence on candidates, so why wouldn't you do the same?
Exactly.
So you owe it to yourself to
and by due diligence, we don't just want to say the technical names without guiding you through what to do. You can, if you don't see the company's name on any website, you don't see their location consistent with maybe some of the things they've published before, I think that alone is a red flag. And just shut that door. You don't even need to start asking further questions. Once that is already established, close the chapter.
Dead it.
Yes. Don't dip it anymore.
Dead it immediately.
I think the second part is on the offer process. And this one is quite sensitive because I know there are some organizations, and no matter how fast-paced you are, I don't think you should neglect the basics.
No.
The basics which requires giving the candidates an offer. I mean, I'm going to be speaking from experience, and this is not to call out the organization.
Call them out. What would they do?
But I remember when I was doing my master's in Ibadan, and I'd finished, although I was doing some job by the side, but as soon as I finished, I needed to come back to Lagos. and I got an opportunity to come work in Lagos as a consultant. During the course of the interview, I negotiated. I negotiated for something double what they finally offered me. But unfortunately, when I negotiated, there was no contract that came afterwards. And because I was, and that's why it's good to not be desperate. Please ensure that
can
you
smell- people can smell your
remove that
desperation.
fog exactly from your head and ensure that you are taking the decision. Ask people that genuinely care about you, that you know. Don't go and ask people that you know that they want to feed you to the dogs or the wolf. Right? Ask people that care about you that should you proceed with this opportunity. And even if they have zero knowledge, ask us. We will tell you. So back to the story. I digress. Back to the story. So I took the opportunity. I moved all my things to Lagos. I remember that fateful day. Popsy came to meet me at Abega.
My God.
And helped me with my load, my baggage, everything. And lo and behold, I resumed at that office the next day at Lekki.
Wow.
Only for me to get my offer on that day because they gave literally everybody that resumed their offer on that day.
Okay.
So I don't know what happened to the other candidates, but for me, I also got my offer that day. And I was assuming that the offer they would give to me or the compensation
Would be what you
would be
negotiated.
what I negotiated, only for me to get there. And I realized that they were offering me the role of an intern
Wow.
and they were offering me the salary of an intern. Oh my gosh.
After all your negotiation. That's doing business in bad faith.
Yes. I mean, I remember seeing one of my friends, or I would say my senior brothers, my friend's friend.
Okay.
But it's like a senior brother, right? I remember seeing him, and that evening I started crying. And I was like, look at the salary I'm earning despite my master's, but could that have been avoidable? Yes. Because I should have gotten the contract
Before
moving my
resume.
things to Lagos. And every day, I mean, even when I moved on with anytime I remember that experience, I always tell myself that it would be something I would advise people on.
Yeah, any company that is telling you that they has not given you an offer before you resume, it's a big
Don't be
red flag.
desperate, please.
You should see what you are getting into. You lose immediately. You start. You've lost all your leverage.
Yes.
All the leverage that you have, you need to put it in writing, and you need to be sure that you are okay with it. Once you are in, you've lost most of your more than half of your leverage. So
When I was in school, Aisha, there was something they taught us in labor law, right? And one of the things they taught us was that for every contract, there are 5 different steps to concluding the contract. The first step is the offer process.
Okay.
The second is the consideration, where both parties have to consider the content and the context
And
of
agree.
the contract and agree. The agreement is the third part. Once that first and second process has not been established, please just know that it's a red flag. Don't even bother accepting or going to resume at any organization. And it's sad that even up until today, some people only verbalize their offers.
And don't document
Yes,
it.
some persons will tell you by mouth that you are going to work as my EA or PA. Please, if it's not a formal setting, I can understand, but just try as much as possible to make sure there's a chat that has
that can
happened
tie
that can
back to
tie
it.
back to. Let that offer be established. Don't let it be verbalized, just to save yourself. And I think that even brings me to, even under this offer process, right? There are some persons that will give you offer, but before they give you that offer, they would have requested for your pay slip. And I think that's the topic
we have
another
we have
day.
a topic on that because yeah.
Yes, because asking for your pay slip, in my opinion, is not right. It's not best practice.
It depends on why you are asking for it.
I don't think it's right.
Yeah, well, it's a bit
In the
it's
context
a
of
bit,
a
invasive.
data privacy,
Yes.
on the basis of data privacy, it is not right, especially if you are trying to
Use that to make a
information
decision
to
on
make a
what you pay
decision
someone.
on the candidate. And even if you're
It
not
shouldn't even
making
be
a
your
decision
business.
on the candidate, it's none of your. If you have a structure in place,
That's like, if you have a structure in place, like what the person earns before shouldn't be a problem. You already know what you are looking for. You know the experience, the kind of experience that you are looking for. You know what you would pay the person that has that kind of experience. So
And
what other
skills.
companies are paying is really not your concern, unless you want to have it just to like, gather data around, like, okay, what are other companies in other industries, and that's not
Exactly.
even the way to do it. That's not the right way to do it. Not
I
by
think we should not
asking.
dip it, because it is a topic
It's a
for another.
Yeah, let's leave that.
We'll
Let's
unpack
leave
it
to-
another.
Then I wanted to also say, like, for contracts, like contract negotiation, a company that offers, like, gives you an offer, then you have like, questions around it.
Salaries.
Not even necessarily salaries. It could be like, why is the non-compete
Net, yeah.
time? Why is the non-compete time? So why is it so long? Or why is the notice period so long? Or can we come to an agreement and do this and do that? And they are not able to compromise or meet you in the middle. That's also a red flag.
Aisha, you just you took me back to one very recent experience. This experience happened about 3-4 years ago. I had an organization reach out to me. It's a tech company.
Okay.
I don't know where they are currently, but
Okay.
they offered me the role of a consultant
Okay.
for about 2 months, and then after which, either 2 months or a month, so they would measure my performance within that period and then convert me into being a full-time staff. So when
okay.
they wanted to move forward with me, I'd met with the
That's after you've done the
chief
consulting
operations
for-
officer.
That's after you've done the 1 month. Is after you've done the 1
No,
month?
no. Before I
Before
even
you even started
started,
at all.
yes,
Okay.
I was speaking with the chief operations officer, and one of the things she just kept on emphasizing was that the company is a great place to work. It's a startup. She gave me all the perks, the beautiful things I wanted to hear, and of course, I was really excited, given that being in the fintech space was like a dream,
yeah.
and it felt like it was coming true at the time. And so I just was really eager to join in the organization until it got to that part where the contract she offered me was saying that if I don't meet certain performance threshold, certain deductions will be made from my salary.
In this
Hey,
big
God, I
20
beg.
what? 2023. I mean, you said 3 years ago.
Yes, so it was about 3-4 years ago.
That's so
And that was
terrible.
not the only thing. There was another thing she mentioned. And when I tried to, speak to her about it, I wasn't comfortable with the clause. Guess what she said? She said I can't start influencing from outside. That I have to join the
He's
company
a
before.
trap. They want to trap
If
you.
you experience that, please run away.
Run away. Don't mind them. What you cannot. It's not your. You cannot influence from inside. What you want, if you are not able to negotiate, if you are not able to meet a compromise, especially when it comes to like things that are easily that you can easily compromise on or control. Like, okay, you say, oh, this salary that you offer me, this is not my expectation. Or can we do this? And you're like, oh no. I mean, well, there are budgets for roles and all. But no, don't let me talk about like money, because that's like sensitive.
Exactly.
But maybe in terms of like I've had a candidate come to me like, okay, this non-compete time is too much for him.
Yeah.
He can't sign it. Then I went to my manager. I said, oh, this was what this person said. Then they were like, oh, that is fine. That we can come to an agreement. They were like, okay, let's do. I think I can't remember we were able to meet him halfway. He was also able to meet us halfway from what he was asking for, and everybody was happy, and he signed the contract. But if you are not able, even if decisions cannot be changed, even if it cannot be changed, in the way it is communicated to you should not be like, how dare you ask us to change this? It should be like,
Exactly.
oh, this is not possible at this time because of so. Not because you have no right to come and say we should change something about a contract. No, that's why it's a
Exactly.
contract. It's supposed to be like two parties. They are signing, you are signing, which means both of you have to be okay with everything that is inside there.
I
If one
agree.
party is not okay and the other party is okay, that's no longer a contract, though. It's bondage.
It's
So
actually-
don't mind them.
Yeah.
What's the next red flag?
I believe the next one should be the job process, the recruitment process.
Okay.
Right? Because I wouldn't say the job process because, again, it's the candidates that is job hunting. I was speaking to the candidates.
Yes.
Right? I think one part of recruitment that is very vital, especially for the branding of your organization, is being able to put in certain information that doesn't give you out or sell you out as an organization that does not embrace equal employment opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
So I would say job descriptions, once you cite, I mean, for experienced people, once they cite certain job descriptions, they already know that is a no-go area.
I
Because
just
it already
cough. I just
it turns them off. Like,
what are you talking
it
about?
turns them off and they don't want to even proceed or even consider the opportunity.
Yes.
Yes, and it is not far-fetched. Aisha, there's this particular job description I saw recently, and this one bust my head.
Are you
Like,
serious?
I didn't even know. I was taken aback as to the audacity,
The audacity from
the
Temu.
effrontery of the recruiter.
Wow.
So now let me read it out.
Please, let me hear.
The recruiter was trying to describe,
Okay.
the education of those persons that will be considered for the opportunity.
Okay.
And the person went ahead to state this: must be a bachelor's degree holder from
Okay.
a top 10 university. I didn't think that was all. We probably would have
okay,
just
okay.
passed by. As in,
May-
would have
I'll
just
still raise an eyebrow, because what do you mean
overlooked.
top
So,
10
exactly.
universities?
I mean,
But proceed. Let me
but
hear.
again, the person went ahead to now put examples. And the
Oh,
person started
okay.
with University of Ibadan.
Wow.
Uni- University of, in my years of experience, I've never seen, so I hear discrimination, but when I saw this one, I had to highlight it because how do you mention the names of the university and then you localized it? You said Unilag, OAU, UNN, Covenant University, Babcock, ETC.
Wala for who no go this
The
school.
person-
Wala
the
for who
person that
study
even put
abroad.
ETC. There's something wrong with this recruiter. And
No, this is
sorry to
is
say,
not-
but
it's not
yes, there's something.
acceptable.
And the person even went on to say candidates from other universities after putting ETC, after naming only 5. I really
Okay,
don't
and
even
asking for
I-
10.
I mean, I don't know how to react to this. And then the person went ahead to say that those candidates will not be considered.
From other universities.
And to think that the job is going to be paying the industry background, experience in fintech, BPO call center, or gaming or betting industries. And the person went ahead to say that the salary is about 300,000 to 350,000
All this
per
wala
month.
for 300K.
And
Because I'm trying to also wrap my head around, like, is there something that is making them want to ask for this? But I don't think there's anything that would justify that.
there's nothing to justify that.
Because what are you telling me? So those of us that went to like private universities, for example. Okay, well, Covenant is there. That means you will get the job if you go. Unilori is not there, so nothing for me.
Abroad.
Wala for who study abroad.
Those that studied abroad are the ones that I'm even thinking about,
it's
that
not
they
as
were
if you're looking for
excluded.
300K.
As in, some people are just very funny.
It's the audacity for me.
Yes.
And it's so sad that people are so blatant with this kind of thing. Because tell me why you are so confident. Because I can see the clip now. It's from, this job was posted on Glassdoor.
Exactly.
So it's not as if it was posted in like WhatsApp group that nobody would ever see.
Some would tell you we are sourcing for a male
Candidates.
We are sourcing for a male candidate.
We
And they'll
spoke
just-
about this
in our last episode.
last episode. It's sad.
It's not just
sad that
about
the
being
audacity
sad, but
is smelling.
because there is no one enforcing the labor law
Yes.
on discrimination. that is why these persons are having those guts. And I
do
think
that.
this is a
And because they
pointer.
would always see people to apply for this kind of jobs. People, because you can't even blame
There is
because
unemployment.
people are looking for what to do. So people will not look at, they would, if it was a place that, oh, if you see this kind of job, you see that it's a problem, then nobody applies. Maybe it would force people to act right. But because there are people that they will always see people. So they will not see it as a big deal.
They won't be challenged to do the
Yeah.
right thing. I agree with you. And I think that's what also brought about, that is why we would also call out institutions that are responsible for, challenging people that post all these things. And I'm calling out my
Yes.
institution, the body I belong to, CIPM, because we're a very, very known brand and we should be able to challenge
check all
things
these
like
things.
this.
Mhm.
Yes, we should challenge it,
You're
right?
right.
Rather than just,
Keep quiet and sweep
as-
it under the rug.
yes, we should challenge it. Another thing that should put you off as a candidate is maybe the questions that are being asked.
Yes.
So because we are speaking to a global audience, we also want to talk about those persons that ask questions around your gender. Because I knew it was very, very rampant during the period of Joe Biden, right? Where they
okay.
were always asking you to identify as what have you. I know companies are still doing it now, but I would say that there's some information that are not required during the course
of
an interview. For
Yes.
instance, are you married? That kind of information can come off as though you want to segregate the candidates, right? During the interview, it shouldn't be collected. Maybe during the process of the person's application, yes.
Yes.
But interview, are you married? Do you have 4 children? Are you staying on the mainland or island? All those kind of things.
No, those ones, it's a bit like
It's
kind of
dicey
it's
anyway,
dicey.
true.
It depends on what you're collecting. Like for example, my former workplace, it's a shift based job, and because some people work morning after it's a roster, so some people work morning, some people work afternoon, some people work night. So those that are like working nights, I think they resume by 9 p.m. So we usually don't take candidates that stay far away. If you have to be staying around Ajax, it's just because of the close proximity
proximity.
to the office, not because of because we feel like maybe people that are coming from other parts cannot do the job well, but it's just because of the close proximity. Because we've had experience of candidates that are maybe coming from the mainland, they eventually leave after like 2 months because it's a bit stressful for them, and we understand that it's stressful. That's why we're like, okay, candidates that are staying that far away, it's not going to pay us in the long run, because you just spend money, spend time to train someone, and the person does not last long because the proximity is too wide for them to keep up with.
It's a long range. Well,
Yeah.
I understand that part, but my point is still those kind of data can be collected at the point of application.
Yeah, right.
Interviews
Yeah, right.
are supposed to be conversations to assess the
Your
person's skill, the person's ability, culture fit, things like that, and not necessarily to know if the person is married
or
when
has
last the
5
person
children.
had, went
What's
to
your
party,
business?
the person drinks. Come on. I mean,
Some people can still say that, oh, maybe the interview you're trying to measure your vibe. Are you applying? What job are you applying for? Imagine me applying for a role that is maybe like HR business partner. You're coming to maybe you're coming to come and ask me that, how many children do I have? What does that have to do with my job?
with the job, exactly.
Doesn't
Exactly. And even
click.
and another point under this recruitment process, right, is the invitation, how they invite you for interviews.
Then people that are not able to land first.
Yes, invitation. So there are persons that you invite them for job interview as the recruiter. Maybe the recruiter is just sending you a very blatant message. The message is even looking very aggressive, as if they are confronting you to say, guy,
Do this or die.
It feels like a challenge, like you're even already feeling threatened.
Yes.
As per the invitation.
What I even wanted to say is recruiters that are not able to compromise on invitation. I've had experience of someone saying they applied, they got a job interview, and I think they were in another state. Then the job interview was the next day. So they were I think I saw it on X. the job, the person now asks like, oh, can it be postponed? Like, oh, because I'm out of state, can we move it to this? Then people, like, the response was like, oh, this person is not serious. You don't need a job. And I've even had another experience, like personal experience, that a candidate had reached out to me, like, oh, I invited you for an interview. Like, the candidate had reached out to me, like, oh, I'm not able to make it at this time. Can we move? I was like, oh, it's fine. You can tell me a time that works for you. Then we'll tell you what works, and then we can come to a compromise. Eventually, the person joined the team. So just having a conversation with the person was like, he has never experienced how the job interview was moved. Like, it gave him a very good impression of the company, because these people that are able to tell me, like, okay, a time that works for me, and are able to move it in a short notice.
Yeah.
It's a good sign. So a recruiter that is not able to compromise on time, especially when it's short notice, even if it's not short notice, even if, like, oh, you got an interview invitation 3 days before, and something comes up, you should be able to come to a compromise. Like, if the person is not able to make it at that time, you can't say because the person is not able to make it, then they don't need the job or they are not serious.
Absolutely.
And that's how, like, that was the impression that I got from that post on X. And I think people were even saying it in the comment, like, the person is not serious now, something like that. Like, it shouldn't be like that. Just because I'm not able to.
Absolutely.
What if it was an emergency? What if something happened to me? So that's another red flag.
Actually, and I think in this light, I think the last for me under the recruitment process is the numbers of procedures you need to, or interview stages that you need to go through before you're finally ticked as the best outstanding candidate. So whilst I understand that companies have different levels of chain of command, right? I still think that the process can be more efficient. Let your candidates see that you respect their time, you respect the resources they also put together into doing your interviews. In one of our videos, we had indicated that in the Nigerian labor law, if you invite candidates for interviews, once you employ those candidates, according to the Nigerian labor law, you're expected to refund them the cost of the interview, or the cost of them coming to your location, to come and interview with you. Actually, it's the cost of the transportation of coming to your site.
Nobody does that.
Really, but I don't think employers do that. Some companies do that.
Okay, maybe.
Right?
So.
Because we got some reactions then.
Yes.
And I believe some companies do that.
Yes,
so, but in that stead, whilst even if you do it as an organization, respect candidates' time.
Then you go to some interviews, you are there for hours just waiting.
Exactly.
Then the person comes and zero apologies, just like, okay.
As if they are doing you a favor.
It's part of the interview. You're testing your patience. What do you mean? You give me time. You say the interview is like 10. Then you are walking in by 3 p.m.
Just show the candidates you
testing my patience. I'm going to leave. I'm not going to wait.
I know the place of mass recruitment, but in the midst of the volume, I believe there is a way you can craft your process to show that you care about those persons, and that you are genuinely trying to,
make it as fast as possible.
Make it as fast as possible.
Yes.
I think that level of interviews, the different levels of interviews, is what actually pisses me off. Because
just put everybody in a panel.
Well, maybe it might not work that way.
But
Because
just people of maybe close ranking.
So the reason why I'm saying this is because we also have global audience, right? There are people that work for international companies.
Yeah, right.
And because they work for international companies, they cannot be in the same time zones where, they are being assessed by people within the same time zone. So of course, such interviews will have to be, rescheduled or scheduled at different times. Yes. So, but instead of putting me on 7 different interview levels, I think it is just best to wrap it up, see the hiring managers for who they are, contextualize it and group them. Make sure that it's only the hiring decision makers that should
meeting.
Yeah, that should be given the opportunity to meet the candidates.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, then the 4th one has to do with social media outlook. That one, it is in fact, once you just find out that on their social media page, they don't have that I know some people are not big on social media, but this is a reference to our very first point. If you cannot locate a company, just know that the company
red flag.
is a red flag.
Yes.
There are some organizations that are undercover. I watch lots of detective movies and crime
Yes.
crime movies, and because of this, you get to hear there are some coded under you know, associations and things like that. So, but because we're in Nigeria, we that were speaking were in Nigeria.
Yes.
We don't know if there are all those cabals, you know, on the some hidden cabals that have their own organization and they don't have a social media page or anything, right? But even if you are going to work for such people, you must be able to verify some way, one way or the other, right? You should be able to verify. Social media hacks, right? For those persons that are on LinkedIn, and that is why we said we don't just want to unravel the cons or the red flags, right? We also want to help you know how to navigate these things, right? So when you see, I would use LinkedIn as an example. So you go on LinkedIn, you're looking for an opportunity in a particular company. You just want to see the one thing I do. You want to see the type of people that are working there. One thing I do actually is to
you can
check
even
out,
reach out to some people working there,
Yes.
or people that have worked there. People usually put these things on LinkedIn, like, oh, where they've previously worked and they are working in that place. You can ask them the question. You can send them a message, just a code message, like, oh, I'm looking at an opportunity here, or what was your experience like? People would talk. If you send it to like 2 people, I'm sure that someone will respond
I
to you.
agree. And from personal experience, LinkedIn is purely underrated. Now, let me tell you a hack. Whenever you want to get an opportunity, right, you are job hunting and you want to know whether or not to take up an offer or to run away from an organization, go on LinkedIn, look for people that have worked in that organization and have exited. Go for those people that have exited, because those that are currently there, they'll think you're probably a spy. They might think that you know the MD. They might think that you know one senior manager and you cast them. So go for those persons that are probably previous job incumbents or people that are, you see their social media, they have nothing to lose, right? And they'll be open enough. Don't just go to one person. Try don't go as many
as you can see, as many as that can respond.
So that is a hack that you should explore. Reach out to these people. If you don't have the free in-message stuff, go as far as looking for them on social media. You've seen their name, right? Go and look for them on Instagram.
That's going to stalker
You're not a stalker. You're trying to
make... She sent me a message on my social media, maybe like on Instagram or something, because of...
No, but it's a life decision. So you need to take it seriously. You need to know where you are going to. Because if you make that mistake, it will
bite you in the future.
It might come back to haunt you in the future. So it's best to go the extra mile to know what that organization is all about before you even start the process, right? Before they interview you, know the people that are even on the panel, you know, go and research, know their historic, where they used to work before. Because again, where an employee has worked before actually shaping their behavior in their next environment, especially if the next environment does not have a proper structure. For instance,
they will influence it.
I've been in an organization where they're always hiring bank officers. They are always hiring people from the bank. And I'm not saying that people from the bank are toxic. Please don't quote me wrong. I'm just saying that they come with some form, a very high level of competitiveness
and...
They are very rigid. And I'm saying this with my full chest. The people from the bank are rigid with structure. So if you are someone that needs to, you know, you like an environment that's flexible, you like an environment that, you know, there are no competitive politics in play, you know, toxicity and things like that. And that's not to say that the banks are toxic. I'm just saying that, you know, there are some behavioral patterns that happen and shaping the kind of people that come to certain organizations. So if you see a huge volume of people from the bank in an organization, it is time for you to ask yourself critical questions, especially if they are in leadership. Are you willing to be very rigid? No, not very rigid now, because that would be a very wrong word to use. But are you willing to be structured? Are you willing to... If you're a Gen Z, you need to prepare your mind, because it means that you would have to be very disciplined. You know, you
Yeah.
will have to
There's
wake
no
up on time,
flexibility.
come to the office on time. And I'm going to be very honest with this, right? That doesn't mean that it happens in every organization, but I would say confidently that 80% out of 80% of times when you find persons from the bank, most persons from the bank in leadership positions, and they are actually in a new organization, they would influence the culture, they influence everything, and that will also influence the way, you know, it trickles down into the overall operations and the way people interact within the organization. So check all those things. Go to LinkedIn, see the historic data of all the people that are there. You know, that would help you to understand. And then lastly, right, for us, would say that some of the things that you should also look out for is the review of the organization.
Very important.
When I want to go to as little as maybe hospital or a restaurant or anything, if
Review
you want
is
to
very
go
important.
to a restaurant,
Even if I want to buy something online,
you
like
check for review. If
Yeah.
Temu, and this is not that we're trying to advertise for
anything, Shein, Temo, Jumia.
Yes, AliExpress.
I have to check the review. What are people
ASOS,
talking about it?
Adidas.
What are people saying?
You know, when you check all these brands, you always check for the reviews.
Yeah.
Same thing should apply for organizations. When you want to go to, when you're job hunting, before you even apply, don't stress yourself. First of all, check, is it even worth it?
Yeah.
Or even if you apply just for cruise, right? Let's agree that you did that for cruise. After that cruise, before
You need to be intentional.
before you engage in interviews, just make sure that you're checking out some of these things. Make sure that you check out the reviews of the company online. There was a time I wanted to go to the hospital, Aisha. And before I went to that hospital, I went online to check the reviews they had. And I saw one woman put there that if you ever go to this hospital, just know that these are the 3 things you are going to experience. Terrible customer service.
Are you serious?
Nobody even tried to warn me.
You just carry yourself.
Yes.
Dust your shoes.
And I didn't even bother proceeding with that conversation. And thankfully...
Me, like, don't be the one like, well, let me test it for myself. No.
Yeah.
Don't test it for yourself.
Don't
Especially
ignore.
when it's a lot. It's a different thing. Like, there might be... You can say, oh, maybe they are disgruntled employees.
Don't even
that
overlook
it's not one, it's not
stuff.
2, it's not 3, and it's consistent. It's the same thing. Don't go and try it by yourself. You will regret it.
I agree.
You will definitely regret it.
Another thing to look out for that I should have even mentioned earlier is that when you check on their job sites and you realize that they keep on recruiting, and maybe it's a
The
small
same
organization, whether the same role or multiple roles, but you see that maybe they filled the opportunity last year, and then this year again, you are checking their website or LinkedIn page, and you see that, they are still recruiting for this role.
It's true.
It is
Yeah,
a
very-
sign
it's
that
a
there's
sign.
something wrong.
Like there was my husband.
And it's
my
it's
husband's
okay.
experience. What I say, my husband had that experience. Like just a company like that. He mentioned. He just told me in passing. Like, see these people. They are not even serious. I'm not going to mention the company's name. So they were recruiting for like 20 roles. It's not a new company. Why are you recruiting for 20 roles at the same time?
I agree.
Then after like. It's the job, like it went away, like, oh, maybe people had already resumed or something. 6 months after, same, like maybe like 18 roles of the previous role that you had already recruited for 6 months ago. You are looking for other people to come and do the job again within 6 months. What does that mean? That means people that you recruited 6 months ago, they have all gone. It's not normal. That's not normal.
So you remember that one of the things we said is the consistency of it happening.
Yeah, consistency.
There have been times me as a recruiter, I've hired someone and then the person gave me a breakup letter after 3 months to say that they want to move on
Have
to
you even
another
done
thing.
one like on the day of the onboarding?
Yes, there are people that would end the
Contract, yeah.
negotiation process or the recruitment process at the point of resumption. So that's not to say that when you just see one person, or one role that is being filled again or is being advertised again.
It has to be consistent and
it has
over
to be a
time.
consistent thing. And that brings me to one of my experiences for one tech company. So the name of the company is Car something.
Car what?
Car something. It's a tech company. It's based in the UK. It's a UK-based company. So this company wanted
Put
to
in the
hire
comments
me.
if you know it, please help me.
I'm not going to name them, but they are all over the internet. Every time you go on LinkedIn like this, they
will
are
see them.
recruiting. In fact, they are famously known for wanting to hire the top 1% of the secondary
Mado.
school graduates, top 1% of university graduates, top 1% of your classroom graduates. You know, they're always looking for the top 1%. And I'm
Shame.
like, wow. For people that are always recruiting,
Maybe the organization is very big.
it doesn't matter. Okay, so let's even say that the organization is big. They reached out to me. They told me they had an opportunity. They wanted me to proceed with them. And then me now doing my own due diligence. I went to their website. And to our viewers, if you know you want to find out the reviews of organizations, here are five websites you should look out for. One is Kununu. Kununu is actually a great platform to actually check out organizations and what people are saying about them. Maybe not necessarily Nigerian jobs, but for international jobs. There are also job sites like Career Bliss. Career Bliss will also tell you about the reviews of certain organizations, the interview process, and all whatnot. Glassdoor is usually my number one on the
That's
list.
my number
because
one.
I
Glassdoor
always
for
go
anything.
to Glassdoor for gist.
Yeah.
Although one thing you should look out for is that they will request for certain personal
Yeah,
information
before
about
you're
you
able to
before they can
access.
reveal other details about other
Which is fair,
employers.
because you cannot come and be collecting
and,
information and not give them
and not give them your own information, right? But I mean, for persons that have never been employed before, you can just put, I'm not saying you should put any random information, but try to get the data that will be useful to them and put it in their comment, right? Another website that is very good for organization reviews is Indeed. Indeed is a fantastic place
very
to
fantastic.
look
Even
for hot
job
jobs,
opportunities.
Yes, look
too.
for hot jobs and get reviews about those organizations. You know, the process of the interview, sometimes interview questions and things like that.
Yeah.
And what people are really saying about the organization itself. You need to go to. I mean, people underrate it, but I think
Indeed.
X is
Yeah.
a fantastic
It's
place
very,
to get
it's actually
reviews
very
about,
true. Like X
because
is,
they don't blot you out.
They don't, like you can, people just talk.
Say anything on X. So there is no gatekeeping. There is nobody trying to save anybody's name. You go to X, you see communities that are talking about bad employers, bad organization, bad everything. And then if you want to just find out, just go to X, you find out, right? So yeah, those are the
You
five
forgot
places.
Naira Land.
Oh my goodness. I was going to mention 5, but yeah, just to say that there are about 6. There are many more.
There are many more.
Go to
Just-
Facebook.
yeah.
Not Facebook. I might not really recommend Facebook because everybody's on Facebook. Maybe not everybody. Yeah, me is not on Facebook.
Me, I'm not on Facebook. Okay, I'm on Facebook, but I can't remember my password.
But really, yeah, I would say Naira Land is a fantastic place as a Nigerian, actually.
Yeah.
If you want to know about the things going on in the workspace as a Nigerian, go to
You see
Naira
it on
Land.
Naira Land.
Right? And that brings me to the review I got about this company that reached out to me that they wanted to employ me. So I'd gone to Glassdoor. I tried to check their website. And the first glaring comment that I got, this is it. Aisha, I'm going to read it out for you.
I know.
So one of the comments was that management is not technically competent enough compared to other tech companies. Although better than non-tech companies, a lot of micromanagement, top-down company initiatives get in the way. The review process is not constructive. It feels like every man for himself and not enough collaboration. Another thing someone posted is that the management is notoriously horrible,
Wow.
with some managers exhibiting behaviors that can only be described as psychopathic. I'm telling you.
He reached that place, psychopathic.
When I saw that, I was like,
Okay,
there's
good
a
luck.
whole lot going on in this
Good
place.
luck to all involved.
There's a whole lot going on here. Another one said, further, the name of the CEO is Mark. The person boldly wrote the name of the CEO.
You have already called him because okay, continue.
Mark now. I mean, it could be Mark anybody. He's a toxic personality and puts more into dictatorship than benevolence in his title of benevolent dictator for life. Omo,
This is a lot. Well, I don't even. What is this?
I actually went through a whole lot of comments, and it was against the CEO. In fact, I think the rating for the CEO overall was about 33%
Whoa, that's
on Glassdoor,
low.
32. I can't really remember. Then someone even went as far as putting an advice to management. The person said, trust your managers and PMs and focus on doing the company management well. You are not an SME. In every product we engineer, and acting like you are is hurting the company. Drop the ridiculous hiring process. Remove members for senior management who are toxic. And I was like, wow, there's a whole lot of toxicity
You've read
happening
like
here.
about 4 reviews are negative.
Yes.
So this is what we are saying.
Yes.
Like it's not normal. It's not like this is not just a few, like maybe just disgruntled employee.
Yeah.
There's a pattern to it, which means the places. If you now say,
The
oh, I'll put
leadership,
everything aside
not
and
the
test for
leadership.
myself, you have yourself to blame.
Yeah, yeah. And this is one of the things that some persons categorize as a great thing. But Aisha, what do you have to say about organizations that say we are one big family?
I don't like it.
Why?
I feel like it's toxic. Like in my company, we don't say we are not a family. We are a team. We're a football team. We refer to ourselves as a football team.
That's a good way
Because
to look at it.
a family, there are some family members that are very toxic and you don't talk to. And you might not talk to forever. But I feel like it's kind of toxic to be referring to your workplace as family. I'm not saying that all companies that refer to their workplace as family is toxic. But for me, I just don't like it. I don't like that expression. Like, oh, we are one big family. No. You are not my family, you are my colleague.
Yeah, I agree with you. And many times, the reason why people don't want or people say such things, is just to ensure that there are no boundaries. So when you come in, you just have an open mind and you just think that
he's
there are
my
no
family member now.
You have
my
to
cousin.
wait. In fact, at the point where you now want to leave, they'll see it as a betrayal.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. They just want
It
to.
does more harm than good.
More like an enslavement.
Yes.
Being like a facade of enslaving somebody.
Now we are a family. Who is
See
your
the person
family?
as a team.
Your workplace is not your family. It's your team. Team.
Yeah, spot on.
Team. Football team.
Yeah, we said I should stop clocking it.
It's like we'll continue clocking it, whether if we like it or not. Clock
And
it.
so that we have come to the end of today's podcast.
Yay!
Thank you for staying tuned to the end.
Thank you.
I know you've not subscribed, and we are not happy about that. Really, no, to be serious. You're enjoying this show. You stayed up to this point. We want you to subscribe because it's your subscription that is actually empowering us and
It's
motivating us to continue giving you this insightful details about things going on within the workspace here in Nigeria and outside of Nigeria. And to this, we'll be bringing our podcast to a close. Be bold.
Be global.
And be you.